Hi there, fourth grade. I'm super happy as always that you are here. Welcome back to a new class. Let's start because we have so much to do as always. We are a busy class. So first of all, I want to do a review about the activities that we did yesterday. In the last video, we did activities. Remember that we are working in the workbook, and we did activities on pages 67 and 68. So if you haven't sent these two pictures with your name and the date, please try to send them. You are on time. You can keep sending them until Monday, when I check and I do the charts of the homework. So if you have any questions about this, please tell me, but today we are going to review about these same topics, questions we did and sentences in past. So let's begin. First of all, I want to do a review about the verbs in simple past tense. Remember that we have two types of verbs in past, and we have the ones that are the regular and the irregular verbs. So remember that is not a rule, an exact rule. For example, una regla que te diga cómo hacer los irregulares o cuáles son los irregulares. So this is your work. You need to learn this. The only way to learn this is by practicing and practicing, because I don't want to give you a lot of homework, right? But you need to practice. So for that reason, it is important to do your homework at home, right? So what about the verbs that are regular verbs? Okay, remember that we are talking about past tense. This is only for the past tense. So the regular verbs are the most common verbs, so you don't have to worry about it. Maybe in these units, most of the verbs are going to be regular because you are learning this. But the main rule is that you need to add the base form ed, it. Walked, remember that it is not pronounced walked, it is walked, play, played, okay? So what happens if the verb already ends with e? You are going to write only the D. You are not going to write another E. You just add a D, okay? Ya no vamos a agregar otra E, solo añadiríamos the D. Okay, what happens when we have a verb ending in a consonant? Remember, a consonant is the same that you can hear as in Spanish. Okay, so this is about the ending. Carry, this is a consonant. As you know, R is a consonant. And the Y is Y. Okay? Carry, carried. Okay? We change that Y into an I, and we change and add ed. Carried, study, studied. Okay? So, also another rule for the verbs, that some of the verbs end with a single consonant and the last letter is a vowel. Okay? Well, the second letter is a vowel. Okay, so in this case you are going to count backwards. Vamos a revisar estas palabras de atrás para adelante. So for example, here you have the single consonant, and the vowel is in here. Plain. Consonant, vowel, stop. So you need to double that consonant, that last consonant. Vamos a doblar la última consonante. And you are going to add ed. Stopped, plant. Okay? So if you didn't copy this in your notebook, please, it's super important that you copy this because it's going to help you so much. And then we are going to review about the questions. Remember that it's really simple, but don't forget that in the questions, as you know, you always start with the auxiliary verb did, and then you write the personal pronoun or the subject, and then the verb in present. Remember that if we are making these questions in past, even if you are making this in past, your verb is going to be in present. Why? I've already explained yesterday that you cannot use two verbs in one sentence or in one question in past, okay? Because did is already in past, okay? So as you can see, all of these verbs are in present. Eat, buy, pray, teach, swim, take, write. All of them are in present. So please follow this structure. And also used to. Used to, as you can see, is used when we want to talk about repeated actions in the past which are usually finished. Okay, something that you used to do constantly and you don't do it anymore. So, for example, I will say, I used to play, but in negative, I didn't used to play, okay? So, you are not going, even though it's in past, porque esto siempre lo vamos a usar en pasado, no se puede usar en presente, porque aquí, fíjate, it is in past, okay? Este verbo ya está en pasado. So, like in the questions, because you are using didn't, is the same as did, but in negative, you are not going to write used or used. You are going to write, I didn't used to play. Or in the affirmative way, I will say, I used to play, okay? But in the questions, did you used to play? Okay, it's the same. So, that's it. Some of the examples that you can write in the questions and used to sentences are, for example, did you have a computer? Okay, here we have did, then we have the personal pronoun and the verb that it's in present. Did you have a computer? You can also say, did your grandmother have a microwave? Did subject, your grandmother, have a microwave? Have is the verb in present, okay? Is the base form. Not exactly in present, but the base form. So I used have to have in the three examples, but you can also use different verbs. Did your parents have cell phones? Okay, we have did, subject, and the verb in present or base form. So what about the used to examples? We used to wash our clothes by hand. We have, of course, the personal pronoun or the subject, and then we write used to. And the verb, the next verb is wash. Of course, it is in wash. Remember, because used to is already in past, you are not going to write we used to wash our clothes by hand. No. Only one verb needs to be in past. And that verb is the main one that is used to, okay? Another example will be, I used to do my homework with only books. I mean, no computer. So, I used to do, this is the main verb, do, with used to, but it is in present, okay? Subject, used to, and the verb. My grandparents didn't used to call by phone. Okay, this is in a negative form. Remember, we also start by the subject, and because this is negative, used to is in present, but we have didn't, okay? So for that reason, we are not going to write used to. It is didn't used to call by phone, okay? That's it. So if you have any questions about this, maybe this wasn't clear at all, but I hope this was enough. But if it wasn't, please let me know and I might help you, and I'm going to explain it again. Use different resources to help you. And let's go to the workbook activities. We have 2 pages for today. We have page 69 and 70. I'm looking down because I have my student's book here on my desk. 69 says, please always pay attention to these boxes because I always tell you and you forget it. But these little boxes have the examples of the activities that you are going to do next. So it says, before, antes, what did people used to do for entertainment at night? It says, they used to listen to the radio. Okay. They didn't used to listen to an MP3 player. Okay, so we have the two examples, the affirmative way and the negative way. Okay, that's it. So, complete the sentences, letter A and letter B. And we have 4 of these. So, and the number 1 it's already answered because it's an example. Before email, what did people used to do to communicate? So, pay attention to this. Used to, it's not in past because we have did. Okay, so what, before email, what did people used to do to communicate? They used to write letters. So in this case, because you don't have an auxiliary such as did, you are going to write used to in past. So that's the same that you are going to do with number 4, number 2, number 3, and number 4, okay? So, activity 11 says, answer about you. Number 1, before you could read, what do you used to do? Tell me about it. I would say, I used to draw, for example. Or I used to talk, etc. Number 2, before you could ride a bike, what did you used to do? I don't know how to ride a bike, so I don't have an answer for this, but you may tell me, what do you used to do? Maybe I used to run. I used to, I don't know, I used to walk. I used to do different exercise. It's up to you. This is about you, so you can have different answers. Activity 12 says, look in your house. What used to be different? Okay, so the example says, we used to have an old and slow computer. Now we have a new one. So, there's some things different in my house. Starting, I moved to a different house. And during quarantine, my house has changed a lot. For example, I would say during quarantine, it changed like, we didn't used to have so much flowers, so much plants, and now we have a lot of plants. Another example will be, I didn't used to have my bedroom decorated like this. Now it is, of course, decorated. What else? Unit 3. I didn't used to, okay, I used to have all my walls white, but if you could see this wall, the wall that is in here, it's blue now. It was white. So I would say I used to have only white walls. Now I have a blue wall. So you might tell me what things have been changed in your house. Maybe not during quarantine like me, but you can say different things. Maybe you have, for example, my mom redecorated the kitchen, or you can say something differently. You have bought anything to decorate your house. I don't know. So let's go to the next page so we don't make this any longer. Activity 13 on page 70 says complete the sentences. And you have the vocabulary in here. If you don't know these words, you can find them on the internet. Use a dictionary, it is better. Distance, engine, average speed, number of per hour. Okay, so you need to read these sentences and you're going to complete with the correct one. Now, when you finish this, you can go to the next activity, that is activity 14. Listen, read, and circle. How did people travel before cars? And we have, this is a reading, and you have, like they are giving you different options. They are giving you different options and you need to circle one of those. Okay, so uncomfortable or slow, tiring or expensive. Here we have popular, cheap, exciting, dangerous, noise, traffic. Oh, I skipped modern and new. Okay, sorry, but my throat is killing me. I'm really tired. But now I'm going to play the audio, so let's listen to it. Pay attention, as you know.
Workbook, page 70. Activity 14. Listen, read, and circle. How did people travel before cars? Horse and buggy.
What did people do before they had cars? Well, lucky people used to travel by horse and buggy, and unlucky people walked. Both forms of travel were slow, but the horse and buggy was a little more comfortable. It had an average speed of 8 kilometers per hour. Historians believe people didn't travel for longer than about 3 hours per day, probably because it was very tiring.
Model T.
Mr. Henry Ford built the first Model T, or Tin Lizzie, in 1908. It changed the way we travel. For the first time, a car was not a luxury. The car became a popular means of transport, and everybody with a job and some money could buy one. The Model T had an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour. Suddenly, there were more vehicles on the roads, and it was more dangerous.
Modern car.
Today, there are many different modern cars. Some are for racing, some are luxury cars, and some are family cars. They're all faster than they used to be. An average family car can travel at a speed of more than 150 kilometers per hour, but they never do. The average speed of modern cars is 90 kilometers per hour. This is because there are strict speed limits and there is a lot of traffic.
Okay, so that was it for the reading, and those were the activities that I have for today. Remember that they are only 2 pages. You need to send them with your name and also the date. Please try to send it on time because tomorrow we are going to have the Zoom meeting, the live class, and I have something special prepared for you because, as you know, tomorrow we are going to celebrate Christmas. No, is it Halloween? Thanksgiving. My birthday. No, it is Valentine's Day. So I hope to see you tomorrow wearing pink, wearing red, being super romantic. So try to be there on time so we can keep going and we can finish doing all the activities that I have prepared for you. I'll see you tomorrow sooner than you think. Goodbye.